most people, they fear change. Most people fear the unknown. And because they fear the unknown, what ends up happening is they end up being blinded by that fear. So they never end up moving forward to take the actions that will literally change their life. Are you afraid? It's the question you need to answer for yourself. And are you afraid in a way that makes it so impossible for you to lift one foot and put it in front of the other? See, a lot of people, they're so fearful of change. They're more afraid of change than they are of fear itself. And the reason why is because when you change, especially if you know you're walking in a way that's actually going to change you, it's really crazy. Like the old quote goes, we do not fear itself, but we fear that we are great beyond measure. We fear the possibility of what could happen because we've been living in this fear for so very long. So you have a choice in life. You can continue to allow fear to swallow you whole, or you can decide to move forward in a way that is going to change your life for good, forever. What does that look like? What does that actually look like, you changing your life forever? Does it look like better health? Because without health, that's the vehicle that keeps you on this earth and that allows you to push. And without health, you have not energy. So how can you have energy for the things that you actually set out to do? How? It's impossible. And how, if you don't have health, can you strive to be your very best? Because you don't have peace in your mind or peace in your body, because you are affected by what you see in the mirror. And if you as a human being do not like what you see in the mirror, you are going to affect your performance in life. That's just the way it works. I don't make up the rules. So you have to decide, do I love me enough to be stronger than my fear, to rise above my fear, to take the energy that I put into fear and put it into my faith and still move forward, even despite my fear? I'm afraid, but I'm moving anyhow, because I know there's nothing out there for me that is better than moving forward. I know it. I know that if I don't move forward, that I'll stay stuck in this place. And in this place, there is no growth. And in no growth, there is no change. And in no change, for me, it's just a slow and painful death. A spiritual death, a physical death, a mental death. Because when you stay in that place and you allow it to lock its jaws on you, what ends up happening eventually is you get swallowed whole by everything is opposing you wants to do. It wants to swallow you whole. It wants to take you in for breakfast. But if you have a goal, don't allow someone to convince you that that goal is not important or that you cannot do it. Start convincing yourself to do things instead of not to do things. It's a really helpful way to live your life. Everything that is good for you is going to be scary in the beginning. It's scary to get married, but sometimes getting married is the best thing for you because you have someone that has your back and you just can't see it yourself, but you do it because it feels right. It's fearful of getting divorced, fearful of the things that come with divorce and how the system views divorce and what can happen to you financially and everything else. It's scary. but we still do it because we feel it's the right thing to do. Even despite that fear, we're afraid, but we do it anyhow. What about getting coached in a way? If you get coached, you put down a couple $1,000s. Well, what does that couple $1,000 lead to? What does it lead to? It leads to your freedom. I remember when I put $5,000 down for a coach that I knew I didn't have that money. And I said, well, I could just stay stuck here and I could just keep doing what I'm doing. I was doing well, but not well enough to where that $5,000 seemed like pennies to me. Oh, it definitely hurt. I decided that I was going to spend that money on myself. I was going to invest in me because I don't want to have a backup plan. I don't want to fall back. I want to fall forward. I want to see what I'm falling into. And I want to know that I gave it everything that I could. And if I gave it everything I could, then there's nobody to blame but myself. So I took that $5,000, I invested in it, and guess what? I made that back, and I actually 4x'd that investment. And then I did it again, and I did the same exact thing, and I kept doing this. And what happens is you release yourself from the fear. And the fear, it gets easier and easier and easier to beat it up. It's like fear no longer owns you. You own fear. Fear itself is afraid of you because you're going to make the moves anyhow. And making those moves in the midst of fear is the thing that unlocks you from the position that won't allow you to do anything in life. That fear will crumble you. It will break you at the knees, and it will literally make you bow and kneel to that fear. So escape from it. Don't look at it. Put your shades on if you need to. Start looking with the mindset of power, because you're a powerful individual. You are power beyond measure. God himself lives inside of you, so you have the power, the faith that can move mountains, but you got to decide to move that mountain in front of you and not allow that mountain to scare you. I hope this touched somebody listening to this message. We'll talk soon.